20 years ago, the Spice Girls really hit the scene with, I mean, music that just seemed to like change the way groups would be done. As a result, what do you remember about that very first, like, whoa, we're on the radio, we're out here, what is going on right now?
Well, I think we've been together as a band for about a year, and we were kind of locked away and we were rehearsing and we had all these big hopes and dreams. We were super ambitious. We were totally single-minded. We were gonna do it. There was no question. But then when it happened, we were like, whoa, okay. And I mean, that first time you hear your song on the radio, or the first time we saw the video on MTV, I mean, it's dreams coming true. You know, it's like childhood fairy tale stuff. It was incredible. And it still is. You know, that never goes away. I love making music. I love performing. I love traveling, which none of us can do right now. But to have that as your profession, and you know, it's not really a job, you know, it's a dream. So I still love it to this day.
I love that. It's not really a job, it's a dream. What do I feel like there aren't a whole lot of bands these days that can really sympathize, or you can empathize with, like, as far as like the kind of mania the fans went through. Like, I can think of some of the K-pop bands, right? I think of One Direction, in particular. Those were some of the bands, but I think of Billie Eilish as a kind of pop duo. She and her brother experiencing some of the most extreme fandom. What do you think she's going through right now?
Do you know what? That's so interesting, because I was lucky enough to see Billie perform here in London, and she was in a theatre. And, you know, already she'd outgrown that size of venue. So to see her in such an intimate environment was like a real privilege. But the one thing that really struck me was, like, it was packed. And it was predominantly females, and they were screaming for her. They knew every word, they knew every ad-lib. And it kind of took me back to the
Did it really?
Spice Girls, and from that moment I just kind of felt this connection. And I was lucky enough to meet Billie that night, and you know, and we've chatted a little bit about, you know, what it's like, and it's incredible and it's wonderful, but it's daunting, you know. You're kind of, it's like uncharted territory, and for the five of us Spice Girls, we had each other. And, you know, obviously Billie has her wonderful brother and her family is super close by. But she's out there, you know, it's her name. She's the front woman. So it's, you know, it's a lot to navigate. It really is.
Yeah. One of the things that a lot of fans are saying right now, you meeting Billie Eilish, could there be a time? I know that you're finishing the album. Could there be a Melanie C, Billie Eilish cut on this album? I'm just for the fans want to know.
Do you know what? Oh, I would love that to happen. There's nothing in the workings right now, but we're putting it out into the universe.
Put it out in the universe.
Yeah, and see what comes back.
Because, you know, that's how you get it back. That's how you get it back.
Oh,
Billie,
that would be amazing.
Billie, if you're watching, let us know. What do you think one of the, I mean, aside from the fact that there is no touring happening right now, what do you think one of the biggest differences is from touring back in the late, even the mid-late 90s, right? To what it is now? What do you see as one of, like, the really big differences in that touring experience?
The one thing that springs to mind immediately is your experience on stage. And because of these things, because of phones. And
because you're looking at people through their phones. You're not even, you don't even get to see eyeballs anymore, huh?
It's crazy, right? What I love to do in a show sometimes, because of course, you know, your fans are there, they want to film stuff, they want to have memories to look back on. But every show in one song I say, right, let's go back to the 90s. Let's put our phones away. Let's all be experiencing something together that's never going to be seen again.
Right.
You know, let's make this moment unique. And when you do that, it's incredible, because you realize you know, we have the phones that we're looking through, people are viewing you through a phone. When they come down, a barrier drops.
Yeah.
And
that you don't even necessarily realize that you're holding up. Yeah.
And then once it goes, you are closer to the audience and you are truly experiencing something together. So, you know, although we have all this footage and it's great to look back on and show off on social media and show all our friends, we're missing something, you know, we're missing something special. So, so that's one thing. It's like everything, you know, technology, there's good bits and there's bad bits. But I tell you what, in the world right now, thank goodness for technology, because it's keeping us all connected, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That is for sure. That is and right now, good Lord, I mean, you can't do anything.
No.
You can't do anything. And it is better to stay inside. Absolutely. But it is hard. Okay, we have to get to this tour. This the coming back together of the Spice Girls for this. I mean, it flipped the whole world. It sold out in minutes. Who made the first call?
Ooh.
Who said,
let's do it.
Hey, hey, I think we need to do this. Do you remember who said who had the first?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because we always talk. We always keep the dialogue open. You know, we've had lots of opportunities through the years. You know, sometimes it works out, sometimes it's not. The timing's not great.
Yep.
And there was an offer to do one show. And we were like, you're gonna work your butt off to rehearse for a show. You're gonna get all this company together. And it's like, what's the point of doing one show? And I think because we started talking about this show like it was gonna happen, it started to feel a little bit more real. And you know,
putting it in the universe.
Yeah, we put it out there, and Melby, you know, she keeps saying it. She kept putting it out there and kept putting it out there, you know. And then we we're just chatting about it, and then we say, oh, you started doing one, you need to do more, you need to do this. And we felt, because, you know, the 90s is everywhere right now, in fashion, influencing music, you know, it's having a real moment. And we just felt like, you know what, maybe this is the right time. Maybe this is a good time to do it. And yeah, I think we just started getting excited about it. And I think like 4 shows grew to 6 shows, and then we had, I think we maybe put like 8 on sale, and we ended up selling out 13, and it just surpassed all of our expectations. We were playing stadiums here in the UK. We played venues bigger than in the 90s. We were just like,
come on,
it was crazy.
Yeah. And you see, there was a video I think you posted of a packed stadium singing in pouring rain.
Yeah.
Like, that is love. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. We have these wonderful British summers. You never know what you're going to get. Because we were out there, and we had some beautiful nights, but we had some wet nights. And we had this like huge, like big semicircle that went right out into the stadium. Yeah. So we were out there. We were with the people, you know. So again, it was one of those moments where it was such a shared experience. We were all getting soaked, but we were in it together. You know, so it made for a really special night.
Okay, so I think we saw Emma Stone, we saw Adele totally freak out over this tour. Who was one of the most surprising fans for you? Someone who was like, oh yeah, I can't wait for this tour. Oh my God, I love the Spice Girls. Or, oh my God, Sporting Spice, she's my God. Like, was there one in particular that really surprised you?
You know, I think overall with the shows, what was incredible to see was there were generations there. Yeah. So we had like our fans from back in the day. So they were like, you know, in their like 30s, late 20s, early 30s. But then there'd be like young kids that weren't even born when the Spice Girls were around, you know. Haim came over with Emma Stone. So, you know, those girls are so cool. So to see those there was really great. And Sam Smith was at the shows as well. He was another big artist. It was amazing. I mean, we had the most incredible people there every night.
It was a pretty incredible thing. I have to say, all of us here in the United States who didn't have a plane or a ticket to get overseas were kind of bummed. And a lot of us were expecting, I'll be honest with you, we were all kind of expecting, no, they're gonna do at least a New York show. But that face isn't like that's not a, well, you know, sometimes you win some, you lose some. That's like a stay tuned face, isn't it?
Well, I like to keep the idea alive.
Uh-huh.
I love being in the US. We've done the most incredible shows over there, coast to coast. And I would totally do it all over again.
So just want to be clear, everyone who's on this live and everyone who's watching this, Melanie C just said that the Spice Girls are coming to the US in 2021.
You'd be getting me into trouble.
2021?
Yeah, but you know what's happening right now? You know, we're all having quite a tough time. So we're like, maybe when this is all over and things get back to some kind of normality, and once all touring starts rolling again, maybe it'd be a good time for the Spice Girls to, you know,
every boy and every girl.
Positivity, yes.
Yeah. I have to say, I was just listening to, hold on. Here we go.
We're having a little rave here. That's who I am.
Oh. Hey.
With what's inside. I love your moves.
How much fun are you having creating music even now?
Oh, just always. I've always loved it. Love performing, love making new tunes. This album I'm working on, you just played a little bit of Who I Am, which is the first single. I'm so excited. It's one of those times in the studio where, a little bit like my first album, Northern Star, it just feels a bit magical. Like everything is just coming together, and I've got so many great tunes, so many bangers. It's dancey, it's fun. There's some like real thoughtful lyrics as well. So I'm super excited for everyone to hear it.
There was when I was kind of just getting together kind of what you've been up to most recently. One of the other things I saw was this music video with a bunch of drag queens. And I mean, they were going after it.
Yeah.
What was happening there?
So I've been touring. When I finished the Spice tour last year, I went on tour with Sync the Pink. Now, Sync the Pink are a big creative collective here in London. I don't know if you know them. We have a great club night here, and they do festivals. And it's just the most beautiful people. And my drag queens, my gorgeous dancers, came with me, and we toured Prides everywhere. We came to New York. Yeah, we started in Sao Paulo. We did lots of Europe. We've just got back from Australia. So it was just so much fun.
That was, I mean, it looked like so much fun. It also looked like a lot of love, a lot of, I don't necessarily, tolerance isn't really the word that I like, because I feel like who wants to be tolerated? Yeah, totally. You know what I mean? Yeah. It felt like love.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's super inclusive.
Yeah.
And it's taught me so much. You know, the LGBTQ plus community have always been super important to the Spice Girls. They have been great supporters of us as the Spice Girls, as solo artists. So for me to be able to be an ally and to have that voice to support that community has been incredible. And I knew I'd have fun going on the road with a bunch of drag queens. You know, it's a given, right?
Right.
Didn't know how profound it would affect me, how profoundly, because I kind of found this new self-acceptance from hanging out with people that, you know, have grown up with some challenges I couldn't even imagine. And they're super inspirational. I absolutely love them to bits.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool thing to see. I also wanted to ask you, because I feel like you have been creating music since, well, I mean, all throughout the journey after Spice Girls. This album, what was the kind of the motivating factor? What was the thing you talked about? Some dancing music, definitely some bangers on there, and lyrically. But what was the thing that pulled you back into the studio?
I find every few years, you know, like you say, I've never stopped making music, but then sometimes my path will take a slightly different route. I've done some musical theatre, I've done some radio and some TV, but music is my first love. So at some point I'm like, I've got to get back. I've got to get back on stage with my band. I've got to get back in the studio. I've got to, you know, create some new tunes. And yeah, it was just time.
Yeah.
And the sessions came together really quickly. I have a whole new team. I've been working with great new songwriters and producers and artists and remixers. And I just feel really inspired. And it feels like a new chapter for me. And I feel a little bit older, a little bit wiser. And I think
and still fine.
Pardon me?
I said, and still fine.
Oh, thank you so much.
Still, I mean, like yeah, like I was like, well, okay.
Thank you.
We both showed up in our hoodies.
Team Sporty.
I mean, Team Sporty all the way. You really, I mean, you were like, you did the athleisure before there was a word for it.
I know. Crazy, right?
I mean,
I'm trying to convince my daughter I started it. She won't have it. But I love it. And it's so good to like sportswear is having such a moment.
Yeah.
Being comfortable and stylish, it's win-win.
And so was there ever a moment where you thought, I should team up with an Adidas, I should team up with a Nike, I should team up with a, you know what I mean? And come out with the Sporty Spice, like the quintessential Sporty Spice. Like, especially now we've seen like Beyonce and Adidas. We see Kate Hudson and Fabletics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I would. I mean, there's been a few little opportunities over the years, but it's hard because I like all the brands. And I've kind of never wanted to go, well, I can only wear that brand, you know?
Right.
You know, maybe in the future. I mean, I'd love to do that. I do love my sportswear, and, you know, long may it rain.
No, that's right. So I just want to recap for folks who are just joining us. There will be a Melanie C and Billie Eilish collaboration on the new album.
You are hilarious! Oh my gosh!
Coming to New York, 2021.
You're going to get me so in trouble. The British tabloids, literally, they will be like that. Headlines tomorrow. I'll be like,
oh man. Oh, I do want to ask you, because it is a bit of news. Prince Charles. It was recently reported that he did test positive for coronavirus, and I know what it has been like when we heard Idris Elba and his wife. There is kind of like this like hum and this like silent prayer that you kind of pray for them, right? What has been the reaction there for Prince Charles?
Well, I think what's been interesting about people in the public eye talking about testing positive and you know, being ill, I think it just really makes everyone realize we are in this together. You know, there is no prejudice with this virus. You know, it can happen to anybody, which, you know, in some ways is a comfort, you know, I think, to people. But, you know, we had this amazing thing last night. I think you guys probably over there have been doing it too, but we were all, we had this thing, our NHS, which is our health service, our national health service. We all got out outside our homes, on our balconies, you know, on the street and stuff, and everyone, we applauded, and people were like banging their saucepans.
Oh, that's cool.
Someone played a trumpet near me, and it was such a moving moment, because obviously, you know, those people, those key workers that are out there, you know, on the front line, and people keeping these countries, our countries going, you know, delivering food, looking after the elderly. It was such a moving moment to really acknowledge our thanks for those people. Yeah. And Prince Charles was seen out, and he was, you know, applauding. So we know he's fit enough to do that. So, you know, the thing is with the virus, you know, as we all know, it can be horrific, but there can be mild symptoms as well, you know, so we just all need to stay safe for each other and for everybody else.
Indeed. Thank you so much. It has been so nice to catch up with you and to see you this morning. What time is it there?
What time is it? It's nearly 5:30 in the evening.
And we just getting started out here.
Yeah,
All right, well,
it's a whole new day for you guys.
whole
Well,
new
listen,
day.
I hope that soon we can see each other and we're not standing 2 meters apart. We can embrace and we can have a great time and we can play that new Billie Eilish track.
You heard it here, folks.